Oh, stressful day at work, so what a better thing to do than sit down and talk to you guys about perfume. Yay! So, welcome to my review of Delicious Closet Queen by Etat Libre d'Orange. Really like this brand, I'm not going to lie. Positive things about them: they're plucky, they have a bit of edge to them with their names, their scents are intriguing, and I love the design of their bottles. They're really simple but beautiful. Downsides: they use leather in 70% of their fragrances. They have a fascination with leather, I'm not sure why. If you don't like leather, you should still be okay though, because it's used in different levels, obviously. Not all of them are hugely leather-based fragrances, but they do seem to favour it. They seem to have a bit of an obsession with sex as well. Anyway, so this one is Delicious Closet Queen. What a name. Judging from the description and everything, this one seems like it's either aimed at a very extremely metrosexual man, or it's talking about a very metrosexual man, or it is talking about a guy that is waiting to come out of the closet, or wishing he was a drag queen, or even just talking about a drag queen. I'll read you a little bit what it says from what it says on their website. Bear with me because it's really interesting. And while I read you this, I'll read you the notes, because the notes are mentioned in the thing. Do the notes come up this side? I don't know. So it says, under the powerful trail of vetiver, leather and tonka bean is concealed the sensuous personality of Putain du Palace, which is another fragrance by them for women, which translates as hotel slut or hotel whore, or as the man that makes these fragrances said, slut hotel. That would be a hotel full of sluts, I guess. Basically a slut. So, it says, is a sensuous personality of Putain du Palace, so it's about that, but this might be the male counterpart, aroused by an overdose of dynamone, benzoin and apopanax. Dynamone is an aromatic compound that's supposed to be like a very light amber, just so you know. That it says, like a streak of lip gloss revealed here by the presence of rose essence. He is a master of pretense and skillfully dissimulates his true nature. He disguises it and imprisons it in the mirror of his compact powder case. I love it. He expresses his ambivalence by indulging in disconcerting contrasts. Sandalwood and geranium. Geranium is typically used in men's florals. I love geranium. It's like rose on crack. I think it's amazing. Violet and a citrus accord at the heart. That he dares without ever unveiling who he really is. So that's what I'm thinking. It's a drag queen that's in the closet, or it's a gay guy in the closet. I don't know. As the repressed seducer he is, he belongs to everyone without yielding to anyone, and all can fancy the pleasure of feeling him in one's mouth. Okay. Like him, we all have a secret side, an inner garden we cultivate to protect our most abiding passions, and leaves us sole guardian of our identity. Love it. 2007 it came out, and it's actually a masculine fragrance. It's marketed for men. Excuse me. And I had a 1 ml sample of it. I've been using it for today and smelled it a couple of times before. Let me tell you, this one's a bit of a conundrum. I'm not the best at describing male fragrances, I'm not going to lie. They don't usually tickle my fancy. But this one is kind of cool, really. So I'm going to do this a little bit backwards, this review, because I want to talk about the base first. So what this ultimately settles down into is a woody fragrance. It's ultimately a woody fragrance that smells masculine. It's got sandalwood in the base, which is very prominent. Well, it's got sandalwood in a big dose in it, which gives it a sensuality. It does have a sensuality, but what's interesting about it is the path that it takes to get to the dry down. That's what makes it a little bit unusual for me. Nothing hugely groundbreaking, but it's definitely got some very interesting and unusual ways of drying down, and it's different quite a lot of the time when I smell it too. So when you first put it on your skin, or on my skin anyway, because this is quite complex, this one, and I can imagine that a lot of people smell a lot of different things, and it's got quite a big concept behind it, but I get a flash of raspberry straight away, which I'm guessing is the feminine edge to it. It's not an overly abundant raspberry smelling fragrance, but there is a big amount of raspberry for a very short amount of time. So you can smell it's there. There's a fruity pink element which just gives a nod to the feminine side of this fragrance, which is, I'm guessing, the lip gloss or the makeup compact powder thing that I mentioned. But there's an immediate masculine tone to it, and it's woody straight away as well. There's a powderiness to it, and I get sometimes something that smells a little bit like pine. So it's like if raspberries were growing in a pine forest. That's what it smells like to me, which is quite unusual. I think in the air it smells much more generic than it does when you smell it up close, so the review might be a little bit skew-if, but I'm just giving you what I get from here. I've not smelled it on someone else before, and I've never even seen a review of this before on YouTube, so hopefully I'm the first one. Yay! Yesterday when I wore this, I got a few different tones from it. I got an animalic tone from it as well, which gave it a slightly vintage feel, all thrown in there with this piney raspberry wood, and I just couldn't figure it out, and today it smells different. As you know, your nose changes, the weather changes your perception of smell, the humidity in the air can make something smell different on your skin, so because this is quite complex, I have smelt a lot of different bits and pieces coming from it all the time, so like I said, it's a bit of a conundrum. So the raspberry does go to the back, but the woods really rush forward in this. It's got a resinous heart, it's got benzoin, it's got popinax, which is a sweetened myrrh, and this dynamone, which is a light amber, but I wouldn't say it's very necessarily resinous feeling. It's more about a woody feel here. Tonka I don't get from it at all. I get the higher pitched notes out of this. Even though woods are deep and in the base, they are high pitched in this. It's like sandalwood has been lifted up and made sharper somehow. Unusual, to say the least. Not something I would buy, but I definitely appreciate it. And it ultimately, like I said, dries down to a quite sexy smelling woody fragrance for men. I really like it. It's not often that I personally pick up a man's fragrance or smell one and go, oh, I must get that. It's only few and far between. Because as you know, I prefer the women's stuff. It's just nicer. But this throws a lot of things at you. I do really get a kind of piney, foresty feel. So there's a couple of notes that are listed on Fragrantica that aren't listed in that wacky description. You've got cedarwood, and cedarwood, when it gets to the base, the sandalwood and the cedarwood really come together, and this fragrance, I think, really showcases what cedarwood smells like and how it can react in a fragrance, because it's actually really beautiful. Sandalwood always gets the limelight. Sandalwood is like the supermodel wood that's the pretty sensual one that everyone loves and it's exotic, and you know, there are lots of other woods out there, and cedarwood is used in so many fragrances. I think 80% is the figure I read once, but usually it's an accent or it's a grounder or an anchor, but in this I can really smell cedarwood in the base, and it showcases its powderiness. Cedarwood smells really powdery, as well as being a little bit, sometimes I say it smells a little bit like petrol, like terpenes. Do you know what terpenes are? Terpenic, is that the word? It's just a little bit chemical, but it actually has quite a strong powdery tone, and I can really feel that in this. Big combination of cedar and sandalwood together in the base. Excuse me, I almost burped. So that's pretty much my review. I'm not going to sit here and say I've worn this full on as a lot of sprays, because I only had a sample like this, but I wanted to try and give you an idea of my impression. I'm guessing it's going to smell different on a lot of people. It's ultimately a masculine fragrance, but who cares? Wear what you like. I always say that. Leather too, I get that. I get leather. Probably for the first half of the wearing, but it's not an overly prominent note for me. It's pretty much all about the woods. I don't know about longevity, I can't comment on that, so I do apologise. Pressure, it's the only review I've seen of this online. But yeah, if I had a bottle I'd be able to do it a bit better, but that's what it smells like to me. That is Delicious Closet Queen by Etat Libre d'Orange, which translates as Orange Free State. I'm Max Romano, click my logo to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon for another review. Goodbye!